it in focus. Oh, satin paint. That's changed a bit, hasn't it, since the Trump posters? It's changed a lot in the last week. I've more had to paint over everything I've spent the weeks doing. So we had a photographer in today, and we discussed how we're going to take some photographs or not. So one of the questions that came up was how do you know when a painting is finished, and sort of made me think about a few things. You know, there's a few things over the years you wonder. It's usually if a painting comes back to the studio, there's two things which I usually, or maybe three things. One, it wasn't good enough in the first place. Two, probably it wasn't finished. Or three, it never met the right person. And that's an important part of it all. I think over the years I've discovered for myself that if you do an artwork and you get the right person to see that artwork, then there's a connection between the both of them. And that's what happens a lot of the time with artwork. You do find people, I mean, in the early days, I used to have people come to me and say, I never thought of buying fine art before, or art before. And I'm especially not going to buy it now as they will. And there'd be a connection with them, with the artwork, with that person, and you know, you can't, an artwork shouldn't be able to say, right, it does this, that and the other. I mean, if you look at, this is why I think my art sort of suffers from popularity. It can't really be popular in a way that, oh that's the wrong way to phrase it. There's certain rules to art, and you learn them at the very beginning by just going over and looking at other people's, and there's a certain construction to art, and there's a certain colour palette they use. And if you're going through a lot of sort of young people's art, maybe in big galleries, or you might see it, you know, in the mall galleries and the RCA and that, there's a certain dimension to the work, which is good, and it ticks all the boxes of what fine art should be. But for me, once you've done that, once you've learned that, what's the point of doing it again? You rip the rules out. And that's just me. And then you do something completely different. And this is why a lot of this work is more or less a fight with me, myself, and my conscience about what art should be and everything. They fight in a way. It's like a gladiatorial thing, isn't it? And hopefully you come out on top. Well, you've got to come out on top. Hopefully. I mean, can't let the painting win. And or maybe you should win. Sometimes you can look at it and say, oh well done, you put in a good fight. I think you deserve to stay as you are. But for me, artwork needs to sort of evolve constantly in the work that I do. And I know it doesn't, for a lot of people, it doesn't look like that, but I try to get it as primitive as possible, but you can't make it a cliche of being primitive. It's got to be naturally primitive. And that means like the way all the paint is thrown into that and used. It's not trying not to be graphic. Somewhere which it's obviously it's graphic. So then you've got this other side which is like, oh, hang on, I realise now what I'm doing is too graphic. Let's try and explore the other way. And that other way is what people find hard to accept. Is it Martin Kippenberg? He was like a German artist. He was so bad, he was good, right? So that's art for you. And You know, you couldn't. I mean, I couldn't appreciate it at the time, but now I'm doing something which is using what it maybe is mentality was to approach his work in a similar way that I've sort of the evolution of the way I've developed in art. I sort of appreciate how bad. If you can do something really bad, it can be really good. So you scare yourself then. This is really, I mean, no, nobody in the world should think that this is good art. And once you get to that point, you know you've actually, but you can see something, you know. I think you're doing something not a lot of people will understand in the world, and a lot, you know, all these art curators, they mostly get a lot of this stuff from books, but I'm sure there's a few who read for themselves. So that's what the artist is doing. They're trying to evolve, trying to do something different over and over, and do different, not going over and over the same ground and producing the same things, just in a different style. Mind you, that's also contradictory because they're using fucking paint, but I always come back to paint. I do use other things as well, but painting is the way I put everything that I've learned back into. Right, got that off my chest. Got that off my chest, yeah, I think I have. Yeah, so that was just a question with the photography today. So hopefully we'll get some nice photos done in the next week or so. And money well spent. I'd rather spend the money on photographers here and then going up to London or whatever, isn't it? So we can start thinking local.